Will Colmeyer along with Adam Gore as we welcome you back to ICC Softball presented by the McDonald's. Throughout our 5-county district, getting a little bit later start here this afternoon as the Lady Indians getting ready to take on East Mississippi. ICC, as Anna mentioned earlier in the Davis Ford pregame show, wrapped up their third straight North Division title yesterday with a doubleheader sweep of Coahoma. And that's now 3 in a row, and 4 of the last 5 years have been outright, and then the other year we shared the North Division title. So basically we won it outright or shared the North Division title. Adam, this is 5 years in a row.
Absolutely, and you know, this is a proud program. They've Coach Chad Cates really got things rolling for us, did a good job with that program, and Coach Kirk has stepped in and hasn't missed a beat here in his 3 seasons now with the Lady Indians.
And we are ready for softball. Get yourself a nice ice-cold Coca-Cola. Adam and I have had ours already for the day, and then some. It's game time for ICC Lady Indian softball here on FM 95 Sports. And the first pitch by Kristen Mitchell is fouled down the first base line, and it's 0-1 the count. That was the First American National Bank first pitch from Hannah Johnson to Kristen Mitchell. Mitchell hitting at .361, no home runs, 7 runs batted in. There's a grounder to third. Watterson has it, fires right over chest high to Emily Henderson for the first out here in the top of the first.
Yeah, good job that time. We've got a very steady third baseman in Corey Watterson. Stepped in that time, got a clean glove on it, and she's got a cannon for an arm and just shot that one across the way for out number 1.
Yes, no doubt she'll be playing at a 4-year school next year. Having herself quite a career here at Itawamba. Here's the left-handed hitting left fielder, Corey Dawkins. Slaps it in the hole. The shortstop Moore makes the play, and Henderson with the stretch at first. So 3 pitches and 2 outs here in the top of the first. And here's Casey Stanfield, the third baseman.
Well, I'll tell you, you saw how fast Dawkins was that time for East Mississippi. That was a good play on the ball right there at shortstop by Haley. A quick throw across the way, a little high. It still was a bang-bang play. So Dawkins won't have to keep out today. She's got speed to burn.
Yeah, that .434 batting average is impressive, but we were able to get her out that first time. And there's a strike called to Stanfield. Stanfield hitting at .361, 3 home runs, 25 runs batted in. You might have heard Andy Kirk, Lady Indians head coach. There's a strike called. Andy Kirk on our Davis Ford pregame show said these top 5 hitters for East Mississippi are as good as any team in this state and then some.
Absolutely. This is going to be a very dangerous team for East Mississippi whenever they go to the playoffs. You know, right now they're sitting in 3rd place. Them and Northwest will be battling the rest of the way out to see who gets in 2nd place. So if they do finish to be in 3rd place, it's going to be a hard out for the 2 team out of the South.
No question about that one. There's a foul out of play. Count remains 0-2 with 2 outs and a scoreless top of the first. Stanfield, as I mentioned, hit it at .361, has a .546 slugging percentage. This one is popped up out of play, and we'll do it again at 0-2.
And we take a look at the standings right now. Of course, Lady Indians are already locked in that number 1 seed. Excuse me, Northwest right now they're 16-6 at number 2. East Mississippi 14-6 at number 3, but they still have Coahoma to play to wrap up their division play. And then Northeast is at 14-8 right now. They're hosting Northwest today. So you look at that, Northwest, East Mississippi, Northeast, all battling for that 2nd spot.
That's a look at the North Division standings brought to you by the National Guard. And there's a fly ball, a lazy fly ball to right. And Hopper takes care of Stanfield. And that's a 3 up and 3 down top of the first. And throw a donut on the scoreboard for East Mississippi. Brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop here in downtown Fulton. We go to the bottom of the first. No score between ICC and East Mississippi. ICC Athletics on FM 95 Sports is brought to you in part by the National Guard. Always ready, always there, the National Guard. And by Pisons. Give Stan the Pizza Man a call at 862-4000.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Trustmark Bank in Tupelo, Fulton, and Columbus. Trustmark is a Mississippi-based bank. Yes, it's a large regional bank, but managed locally by the Baptist Student Union on the Fulton campus. The BSU is the oldest, largest, and most active religious club on campus, serving ICC students since 1954.
Colmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. We head to the bottom of the first. No score between EMCC and ICC. It'll be Haley Moore, Kat Carver, and Corey Watterson facing East Mississippi starter Haley Green. And Green has had herself a nice year, 11-7 record-wise, a 3.07 earned run average.
And she played well when we went to East Mississippi this year. She did a good job of sort of keeping the Lady Indians handcuffed. The defense played well behind her. It was in one of those games where both pitchers played well, but then all of a sudden the defense kind of fell apart, and unearned runs were the story in that game. So, it's going to be a tough going here against Green.
We'll see what ICC can do here in a scoreless bottom of the first of two for you this afternoon here on FM 95 Sports, on FM95radio.com. And there's a bunt by Moore, the quick throw down to first, and not in time. It was a bang-bang play at first, and Haley Moore starts this game off with a bunt single, and that'll improve that 373 batting average on the year.
Yeah, you take a look in the field. It feels a little wet. It's not soaking wet, but it's got a little bit of dampness to it, so the ball's going to be a little slow getting out of the box, and a girl like Haley like that's got great speed. You saw her get down the line in a hurry. Did a good job to make that infield single.
Let's keep an eye on Haley on the base path, and there's a bunt, and it's in front of the home plate area. A snap throw down to first takes care of Kat Carver. Catcher making the play on that one. That was Roberts, and that's a sacrifice brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. Chris Burrows has been in charge of the Baptist Student Union since 1996.
Yeah, that was a good job playing small ball. That's one thing that you see really makes the difference between a good team and a mediocre team. It's a team that can play the small ball and advance runners. That's softball, baseball alike.
And Watterson, who was your Rick's Pick to Click, watches this one a little high, 1-0 the count. Corey having a monster year. How about 9 home runs, 38 runs batted in, a .423 batting average, and this is her 40th game played this year. That is amazing to have that kind of average this deep into the season. Moore is at second, has a decent lead.
Yeah, you saw one of those home runs last night on WCBI. Robbie Donahoe had the call on that one. I tell you, when she hit it, you just looked up and you're like, okay, is that going to get in orbit or is it going to get out of the park? So when she touches one, she can really put a charge in it.
Yeah, it has a .762 slugging percentage. That's impressive when you're playing wiffle ball, much less playing college softball. And there's a strike called. 3-1 the count with 1 out here in a scoreless bottom of the first. Moore is your runner at second. Obviously some great wheels for Haley. 24 out of 25 this year stealing bases. There's a liner down the left field line, hooking foul, out of play.
And
she gave that one a ride.
She gave that one a ride right there. It's one of those, it was on a rope, and if you would have stayed fair, and she pulled it pretty hard that time to the left, it had a chance to get out of here.
Ladies trying to give Hannah Johnson a lead here in the bottom of the first. Green in the circle. Fastball is high. Now it's 3-2 with 1 out here in a scoreless bottom of the first between ICC and East Mississippi. Emily Henderson on deck. Here's the 3-2. Fly ball in right behind the bag and just on the infield grass. Making the catch is Carpenter for the second out, and that's a big out for the Lady Lions to get the dangerous Watterson to pop up.
Yeah, and a good pitch that time. It was a little bit out of the zone, but Watterson had to protect the plate that time, so she chased the high pitch and sort of just hit it off the hands for an easy pop out. Second baseman had to range a good way to get to it, but had no problem.
Yeah, Carpenter did show up some range. And this first pitch swinging, Emily Henderson fouls it straight back. 0-1 the count to Henderson. The sophomore is hitting at .279, 4 home runs, 23 runs batted in.
Yeah, she's somebody we really need her to find the hot bat here heading to the postseason play. She's been in a little slump here of late.
Need a big 2-out hit here. There's a strike called, 0-2 the count. Moore still at second. Henderson trying to drive in her 24th run of the year. She does have a .490 slugging percentage. That's because she's got 8 doubles, a triple, along with those 4 home runs. A lot of total bases. Henderson asking for time and receives it. 0-2 the count with 2 outs here in the scoreless bottom of the first. Pitches low in the dirt. Moore does not hesitate, and she'll go to third on the wild pitch.
Absolutely. She she has cat-like reflexes, I guess you can say. She's really quick off the bag, and as soon as she sees it gets in the dirt, she knows she has the green light because she has speed. Did a good job getting a little bit closer here. Now we just got to get a base hit out of Emily to score and run.
Emily Henderson at the plate, the 1-2. Fastball is upstairs, 2-2 the count. Moore is your runner at third. Getting some instructions from the third base coach, Andy Kirk. Cammie Roberts, the first base coach for the Lady Indians, the former ICC standout infielder. Pitch is low, a little outside. The count is full at 3-2. Nice at bat here out of Henderson.
Yeah, very good patient at bat right now. East Mississippi players thought they had strike 3 on that one, but instead now the count goes full.
Henderson with 5 walks on the year. She has struck out 7 times. Let's see what she'll do here on the 3-2. And there's a soft liner into center field, a base hit, and that's a clutch hit there by Emily Henderson with 2 strikes and 2 outs. Moore trots home from third, and Itawamba out to a 1-0 lead.
And you said it a while ago, Will, very good at bat that time. Being patient, worked the count into her favor, and that time didn't swing out of her cleats when she got a pitch to swing on. She went with the pitch, put it where they ain't, as they say, and was able to drive in the run.
So now here is Kara Hopper, the right fielder. First pitch swinging, the roller on the right side. The second baseman Carpenter flips over to first, and that takes care of ICC in the first. But the Lady Indians get a run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and 1 was left. We've played 1, and ICC leads East Mississippi 1-0.
So, what's for breakfast?
I thought I'd chop up a few peppers and onions, scramble some eggs with cheese.
How about a little steak today?
And sizzling steak to top it off.
I'll help. Let me grab my apron.
You know what? Grab your coat instead. We're going to McDonald's for steak and egg burritos.
Wake up to steak with McDonald's new steak and egg burrito. Tender steak, sauteed peppers and onions, salsa roja, and American cheese. Now get 2 for just $3. That's more sizzle to love. Price of participation may vary. Pricing single product posted on menu board.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First American National Bank in Fulton, doing business the old-fashioned way. First American National Bank, with convenient locations all over Northeast Mississippi. By the Subways in Fulton, Tupelo, Saltillo, and Nettleton. Subway, eat fresh.
FM 95 sports coverage of ICC is sponsored by the McDonald's of Monroe, Itawamba, Chickasaw, Lee, and Pontotoc counties, the Baptist Student Union, Family Pharmacy of Fulton, Subway, JUCOweekly.org, and First National Bank in Pontotoc.
First pitch here in the top of the second to Jade Albritton is outside. The second one is upstairs as well. 2-0. Oh, beg your pardon. 1-1 the count to Albritton. It'll be the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Albritton, Roberts, and Hackney facing Hannah Johnson here in the second. There's a liner to left, but Elder has her played perfectly for the first out here in the second, with ICC leading EMCC 1-0.
Yeah, that was a little bit more difficult than it appeared for Elder that time. It kind of loud pop off the bat, so she went back and then had to come charging up to get it. So a good job that time. Basically just ran back to the spot she was standing in to get that out.
So with 1 out, Albritton is taken care of. And here is the number 5 hitter. It's Anna Roberts, the catcher. There's a strike called to the right-handed hitting catcher. Roberts, 5'6", a sophomore from Clarkdale High School there in the Meridian area.
Very proud tradition in softball there for Clarkdale High School.
Pitch is a little low and outside. 1-1 the count. Roberts on the year hitting at .354, which is 6th best on the team. 2 home runs, 30 runs batted in.
Foul ball.
And it's now 1-2 the count to Abby Roberts. She has a .460 on base percentage thanks to 18 walks. She's been hit 5 times as well.
That was close.
Some heat from Hannah on that one, just a little inside.
And that was about the only thing the ICC pitchers did wrong yesterday was hit the batters. And Hannah threw one that hit a poor girl from Kahoma that she probably wished she didn't make the trip. As she fastball got away from her, tailed inside, and the girl actually turned around and started heading back to the dugout instead of heading to first.
That one's fouled out of play. Yeah, I bet they smart. Hannah can bring it. There is no question about it.
So it's a 2-2 count here, Will.
With one out in the top of the second, ICC with the early 1-0 lead. Took a little something off of that and a little low. And the count is full.
It looked like she was going off speed, see if she couldn't get her looking fastball, maybe a little drop ball right there that dropped a little too soon for her.
Roberts at the plate with Hackney on deck. And there is ball 4. And that's the first base runner of the afternoon for East Mississippi. And Abby Roberts will trot down to first, and now she'll get a pinch runner, as that is Beth Hull. Beth Hull will be pinch running for Abby Roberts.
I tell you, Roberts is that kind of batter. You really you can't give her any meat because she can rope it, and pitchers know that. I mean, the scouting reports out on her, so you got to pitch her outside, inside to kind of jam her up. And a lot of times when you do that, you tend to lose her to a walk.
Pitch is a strike called to Taylor Hackney, the designated player in Game 1 for the Lady Lions. Hackney hitting it .327. A home run, 11 runs batted in. She has a .490 slugging percentage. Kind of a swinging bunt there. It's fouled.
Yeah, I don't think that was how it was drawn up. I think she saw something the last second that she might have wanted to try to poke something towards second to see if she could steal a base hit right there. And fortunately for the Lady Indians, it didn't work.
0-2 the count with one out in the top of the second. ICC leads East 1-0. This one's fouled straight back. Count remains 0-2. Hackney this year 16 out of 49 at the plate. She does have 3 doubles and a triple to go along with her home run. Gives her a .490 slugging percentage. Slow roller to short, only one play, and more charges. Fires to Henderson to get Hackney by a step and a half. And on the play, the pinch runner Hull takes second. And with 2 outs in the top of the second, here's Pepper Baker, the center fielder.
Yeah, good stretch that time by Emily over at first. She had to come down the line and go up to get the ball, so a good job of keeping her foot on the base and getting that second out.
Here's Baker hitting at .271, 1 home run, 25 runs batted in. 25 ribbies out of your number 7 hitter in that lineup, and there's a strike called. 0-1 the count to the right-handed hitting Baker, with Tori Seymour, the first baseman, on deck. Hannah in the circle in Game 1 for ICC. That pitch is low. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, Hannah's going for the corners. She gets them on the right side, but just can't quite get them on the inside right now. So hopefully in a minute the umpire see that that's what she's going for and start giving it to her.
There's a roller cut off on the left side by the third baseman Watterson, and she fires a strike to get Baker, and that takes care of East Mississippi in the top of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 was left. Throw another donut on the scoreboard for East Mississippi, brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. We go to the bottom of the second, and ICC with the 1-0 lead. If you're looking for a friendly pharmacy with the fastest service in this area, head to the Family Pharmacy of Fulton. Located next to Food Giant, the Family Pharmacy of Fulton never wants a customer to wait any longer than necessary. We know you're busy, so we give your prescription top priority. The Family Pharmacy of Fulton combines modern convenience with caring customer service. Just a few of the reasons why the Family Pharmacy of Fulton has become your pharmacy of choice. Give us a call at 862-7979 or swing by the Family Pharmacy of Fulton.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First National Bank in Pontotoc, with locations on South Main Street in Pontotoc and on Highway 15 in North Pontotoc. First National Bank, you're important to us, and we prove it.
And by JUCO Weekly. Log on to JUCOweekly.org to view scores, stats, news, photos, and videos from around the MACJC. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at www.JUCOweekly.org. Will Kohlmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. We head to the bottom of the second. ICC with the early 1-0 lead on EMCC. It'll be Langford, Bonner, and Elder, the number 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the red and blue. And there's a strike called. 0-1 the count to Ashley Langford.
Well, we've established what the umpire's going to give our pitchers today. He's done this for both teams so far, so he's being consistent. He's going to give that outside corner. So you're going to start seeing a lot of the pitchers consistently go for that outside corner.
There's a roller foul, third base side. 0-2 the count to Langford, who is hitting at .312. 8 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Those 8 home runs, second on the team behind Watterson by 1. And those 37 ribbies just one behind Watterson for the team lead. High on that delivery, 1-2 the count.
We'll got a Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. Northeast leading Northwest in softball 1-0 with 1 out in the bottom of the first.
And you gave the National Guard standings starting the day earlier in this broadcast. That pitch just missing outside, 2-2 the count. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of jockeying this last week before the first round best-of-3 series will begin a week from tomorrow.
Yeah, you really want to stay out of that number 4 spot because then you go to the number 3 team in the nation in Jones for a best-of-3 series.
That's not going to be any fun. There was that inside corner, evidently. Might have been a little inside, but a strikeout on Langford looking. That's the first strikeout of the afternoon for either team, and they're brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue here in Fulton.
Well, as soon as we start saying he's not going to give that inside corner, then here he comes back with one right there. Like that time, it was a little bit more inside for our liking here at ICC. So,
pitch is low to the right-handed hitting catcher, Autumn Bonner. Bonner this year hitting at .289, no home runs, 15 runs batted in. She has 4 doubles and a triple for her extra base hits. There's a strike call. 1-1 the count with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. It's 1-0 ICC. The low, 2-1 the count.
And as we said, these pitchers are attacking the corner, so it's hard to hold off on that last pitch because that has been called a strike today.
See what Bonner can do here. Pitch is high and inside. 3-1 the count. With 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Elder is on deck. Dillard in the hole. ICC scored in the first inning on a 2-out, 2-strike RBI single by Henderson, and there's a smash down the third base line, just foul. And it's now 3-2.
See Sean Cannon down there, but wasn't going to make a play on the ball since he's on the other side of the fence.
Defensive coordinator for the ICC football Indians. They have wrapped up their spring drills.
Sean's usually pretty good about coming out to all their games, whether it be softball, baseball, basketball.
There's strike 3 called, and the first 2 Lady Indians here in the second. Strikeout looking. Brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton, located right across the street from the David C. Cole Student Services Building. And with 2 outs, nobody on, here's Rachel Elder. Elder hitting at .325 this year. First pitch is a ball, 1-0 the count. 1 home run, 14 runs batted in. We've documented it throughout our radio broadcast this year. Rachel has a 3.94 grade point average in pre-nursing major, I believe.
Yes, a nursing major. Recently nominated her for the COSIDA Academic All-American team in softball. That will hopefully be announced next month, and hopefully we'll have her on there.
Yeah, she's terrific. Made the president's list the first 3 semesters here at ICC. And she's not only a student, but she's a student athlete, which even takes more time away from her schedule. 2-1 the count now with 2 outs, nobody on here in the bottom of the second. Lady Indians with the early 1-0 lead over the Lady Lions. There's a strike call.
Now he's just standing up calling just whatever. Well, we'll go back and talk about Rachel, though. I was glad to see her get that home run against Holmes because she's actually bounced 2 or 3 off the top of the fence this season here at home. So I was happy to see her finally get one over.
The 2-2 is high and outside. 3-2 the count. Former East Union standout. Elder is 25 out of 77 this year at the plate. She's got a .481 slugging percentage. This is a pop-up. Haley White will make the catch, the pitcher, and that's an uneventful bottom of the second for ICC. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the third, and the Lady Indians lead the Lady Lions 1-0.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Trustmark Bank in Tupelo, Fulton, and Columbus. Trustmark is a Mississippi-based bank. Yes, it's a large regional bank, but managed locally by the Baptist Student Union on the Fulton campus. The BSU is the oldest, largest, and most active religious club on campus, serving ICC students since 1954.
ICC Athletics on FM 95 Sports is brought to you in part by the National Guard. Always ready, always there, the National Guard. And by Pisons. Give Stan the Pizza Man a call at 862-4000.
FM 95 sports coverage of ICC is sponsored by the McDonald's of Monroe, Itawamba, Chickasaw, Lee, and Pontotoc counties, Trustmark Bank, Larry Clark Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac, Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop, the National Guard, the Daily Journal, and Pisons Pizza.
Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer. Tina Harlow, our studio engineer down at FM 95 Studios in Amory. We head to the top of the third. ICC with a 1-0 lead. First pitch swinging is Tori Seymour, and she grounds one straight back to Hannah Johnson in the circle, and Johnson flips over to first to take care of Seymour for the first out here in the third.
Yeah, good job by Hannah that time because that ball was on top of her before she realized it. And, that's one thing in softball that is, I guess, a little bit more valuable than baseball is the pitcher's able to defend their position. And a good job that time of not panicking after she knocked the pitch down, just underarm toss to get the out.
Here's Haley Green, the opposing pitcher, with one out here in the third. Pitches a ball inside, 1-0 the count. Seymour was retired to start off this third. Tori started the day with a .306 batting average. Here's Green hitting at .325.
Pitch a little low and inside that time.
2-0 the count to Green. She's the number 9 hitter in this East Mississippi lineup. Kristen Mitchell, the leadoff hitter, is on deck. ICC with a 1-0 lead. And that pitch is low. 3-0 the count, a little inside.
Yeah, and Hannah stepped back that time, so that one was on me as that pitch kind of got away from her. So now she's got to come back and put something across for a strike.
There's right down Main Street, a heater, and it's a strike call. 3-1 the count to Green. She was taking all the way with one out here in the top of the third. ICC leads at 1-0. Hannah Johnson this year 13-4 record-wise, and there's a strike call. 3-2 the count. Hannah has a 1.89 earned run average. That is spectacular against this kind of competition.
Absolutely, and a large part of why we've already wrapped up the North Division heading into this game.
Here's Johnson dealing. Well, just getting a piece of it was White. And so we'll do it again at 3-2 with one out. Hannah, this week's MACJC Pitcher of the Week.
Really surprised she hasn't got that a little bit more this season. She's faced a lot of tough competition, and there's been some pitchers that have faced lesser competition throughout the week that she's had equal to or just the same amount of numbers, and just couldn't quite find the strike zone on that one. But, congratulations to Hannah on getting that one this past week.
That's right. That's ICC Spotlight brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc. Well, that ball 4 was just inside, but that was, you hear the ICC coaches, that's what was called a strike when ICC was at the plate this last half inning. So we'll see what Johnson will do here. A bunt right back to the circle. Johnson underhands it, and the throw is not in time.
error on that play right there, and that's kind of what hurt the Lady Indians in that Game 2 loss at East Mississippi, and really thought we had a chance to turn 2 that time. Didn't have a lot of speed at first base. Haley Moore was over at second. Probably should have went for the lead runner instead of just going to first. So right now, Lady Indians kind of take a breath and regather here.
And that's what Hannah Johnson is doing. She's going to throw some dirt behind the rubber. She's the freshman out of Branson, Missouri. That pitch is off the glove of the catcher, and that allows the runners to go to second and third. Kind of self-destructed here in the last couple of moments, and now East Mississippi with a golden opportunity not only to tie it, but to take the lead here in the third.
Yeah, and as you said, you see the infield's in right now, so we got to play it smart. Hannah just come back and do what she's been doing these first 2 innings.
Corey Dawkins at the plate, slaps one to short. Moore's coming to the plate, and it's going to be in time to get the runner Haley Green. And how about that play by Moore? Didn't flinch one bit and threw a strike to Autumn Bonner. That's a web gem brought to you by the National Guard.
Yeah, really surprised that East Mississippi went home on that play. It wasn't hit very hard, and the infield was in. If anything, you charge and get back, but the runner did go from second to third. But ICC, good job of cutting down that run here for the second out, and see if we can't get out of this inning with no damage done.
You're right. Dawkins reaches on the fielder's choice, and Mitchell goes to third, but there are 2 outs now as Green was erased trying to score on that play. Nice job there by Hannah, I should say Haley, and Hannah Johnson delivers, and there's a strike called. Here's the number 3 hitter, Casey Stanfield. She flew out to the right fielder Hopper to end the top of the first. Runners at first and third. This one's popped up on the right side. Henderson giving chase near the dugout, and she makes the catch before falling into the dugout. And another defensive web gem by ICC, this time by Emily Henderson, and that takes care of East in the top of the third. No runs, no hits. There was an error, and 2 were left. Throw a donut on the scoreboard, brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop here in Fulton. We go to the bottom of the third. ICC leads EMCC 1-0.
Introducing the new Bacon Clubhouse Sandwich at McDonald's. It's a step above ordinary sandwiches. In fact, it's about as LeBron James as a sandwich can get. It gets all up in your face, just like LeBron. It'll even dribble. Big Mac special sauce, and it stands tall with grilled or crispy chicken, or, if you prefer, 100% pure beef. Plus, it's on an artisan roll, so it's handsome, just like LeBron.
Man, I'll make a great sandwich.
Try the new Bacon Clubhouse Chicken Sandwich and Burger at participating McDonald's.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First American National Bank in Fulton, doing business the old-fashioned way. First American National Bank with convenient locations all over Northeast Mississippi. By the Subways in Fulton, Tupelo, Saltillo, and Nettleton. Subway, eat fresh.
Will Kohlmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. James Puckett is our photographer for our video streaming at LetsGoICC.com. Tina Harlow, our studio engineer at FM 95 Studios in Amory. We head to the bottom of the third. ICC leads at 1-0, and I'll tell you what, some good defense allowed us to dodge a bullet in the top half of this frame.
Absolutely, that's what I said. And some of our keys to victory today would be getting some plays defensively, making some stops, and giving our pitchers some confidence to fill up the strike zone, and that's what the defense did there. Great play at short, coming home to get the tying run, and then an excellent play by Emily Henderson, almost going into the dugouts and get the third out of the inning.
So here in the bottom of the third, Green delivers a pitcher's low to Heather Dillard. It'll be the number 9, 1, and 2 hitters, Dillard, Moore, and Carver for ICC here in the bottom of the third.
Dillard, the freshman center fielder out of Ingomar, stands in, takes that pitch for a ball 2, low and outside.
So it's 2-0 the count. They are way in at the corners. They know Dillard.
And if she could just hit something to the gap out in right center, she can run for days.
She can. You're talking about you could land one of those huge 747, maybe big military planes in there between, because the center fielder is playing her way over to left, and the right fielder is playing her straight away, and there's ball 4. So Heather says, that's too complicated, guys. Let's just take the free pass. And that's a good start. As we went 3 up and 3 down in the second, we get the leadoff hitter on here in the third. Last time we had the leadoff hitter on, Haley Moore in the bottom of the first. She came around to score on a Henderson RBI single with 2 outs.
Yeah, and East Mississippi's got to be careful right here because we've got a lot of speed on the bases with Heather Dillard, and then you got the burner and Haley Moore now at the plate.
Dillard started the day hitting at .371. That's terrific out of your number 9 hitter. First pitch is a ball to Haley Moore. She has one of the 2 hits for ICC. A leadoff single. She was sacrificed to second by Carver. Went to third on a wild pitch, and then with 2 outs and 2 strikes, Henderson, a little flare to center, and that's the only run of the game so far. We're in the bottom of the third. This one's popped up on the right side in foul territory, and it will drop right up against the fence.
We're lucky that dropped because that time you saw Dillard, she was taken off, and she actually rounded second. So just kind of a mental lapse there as Coach Roberts now getting in her ear, letting her know. I think may have actually had a hit and run on that time.
I think so, and that's what Cammie Roberts, our first base coach, going over with Heather Dillard. But you're right, I'm glad that thing did drop because, as you mentioned, she was already at second. Here, showing bunt, and a beauty by Moore, and the throw to first is not in time, and Dillard goes to third, and she'll stay there. A beautiful bunt by Moore, and let's give her a bunt single. I agree with you on that one, Adam, because with her speed, the play was made, and she just simply beat it. And it got away from the first baseman, so Dillard goes to third on the air by the pitcher. Or do we give it on the first baseman?
I give it to the first baseman in that situation. Because the throw was there. She just kind of took her eye off the prize.
So Seymour with the air. So runners at the corners, and Moore takes off between first and second, trying to beg a throw. They decide not to throw down. And so Haley says, well, if you're going to give it to me, I'll take the stolen base. So we've got runners at second and third with no outs.
Yeah, and they put the snap throw down to third, thinking they might have tried a double steal there. And Heather was putting her foot around. She thought she was around the base and just couldn't quite find it, but found it just before the snap tag.
This one's fouled out of play by the right-handed hitting second baseman, Kat Carver, who had a sacrifice brought to you by the Baptist Student Union her first time up.
I believe we have John Williams joining us out there in the outfield. Like he's got a pretty nice little seat out there, too.
Yeah, they come prepared, these football coaches, and we'll talk about the 6th annual ICC golf tournament. All the proceeds going to the ICC football program. There's a strike called to Carver with Watterson on deck. The 6th annual ICC golf tournament will be on Friday, June 13th. That's right, we've got Friday the 13th. 10 o'clock registration, 12:30 tee time, a 4-person scramble at Big Oaks in Saltillo. And we'll talk more about that one. There's a fly ball to right field. The catch is made. Here comes a run, and Dillard slides in safely. The throw down to third is in time, says Dickie Miller, as it looked like Moore had beat the tag, but Kat Carver, a sacrifice fly to right field, and that scores Dillard from third. And then Moore is out trying to advance from second to third, so 9-2-5 on that put out.
And that tag was high that time, and usually rule of thumb, if you're sliding into a base and the tag is waist up, that means they beat the tag, and apparently Dickie and I just don't agree on that general rule of thumb.
There's 2 outs now. Unfortunately, ICC does take the 2-0 lead. There's a fly ball to left field, and going back and making the catch is Dawkins to take care of Watterson, and that takes care of ICC in the third. But the leadoff walk comes back to haunt East Mississippi. We get a run on a hit. There was an error, and no one was left. We played 3, and ICC leads EMCC 2-0.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First National Bank in Pontotoc, with locations on South Main Street in Pontotoc and on Highway 15 in North Pontotoc. First National Bank, you're important to us, and we prove it.
And by JUCO Weekly. Log on to JUCOweekly.org to view scores, stats, news, photos, and videos from around the MACJC. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at www.JUCOweekly.org.
ICC.org.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Davis Ford in Fulton. Need a new car, van, or SUV? Give Davis Ford a call at 862-3711. By Coca-Cola, Coke, and ICC. Now that's the winning combination.
And by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. Sweet Cheeks is open daily for breakfast and lunch and is the only place in Fulton where you can get hot, freshly made donuts. Alongside Adam Gore, I'm Will Kohlmeyer as we head to the top of the fourth inning. ICC with a 2-0 lead on EMCC, and All-Britain takes the first pitch, a ball, 1-0 the count. It'll be the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters facing Hannah Johnson here in the fourth. All-Britain, Roberts, and Hackney. There's a strike called, and 1-1 the count to All-Britain, who flew out to the left fielder Elder her first time up. We'll set that Coca-Cola defensive alignment for ICC here in game one. There's a grounder up the middle, and Bass a diving more at short, and that is the first hit of the game for East Mississippi, and All-Britain has it to lead off the fourth.
Yeah, and that time she just found a little seam, I guess you could say, between the pitcher and the shortstop. Couldn't quite get to it in time, so first hit of the day. Not too shabby whenever it comes in the fourth.
No, that's exactly right, especially against this hitting squad. I mean, are you kidding me? These Lady Lions can hit. There's a bunt and a beauty down the first base line. Hannah makes an athletic play to get the runner Roberts. And that sacrifice bunt brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. And, of course, all the BSU students would like to remind all of us of the ultimate sacrifice made on our behalf, especially with tomorrow being Good Friday and Sunday being Easter. So with one out, the runner at second is All-Britain with one out here in the fourth. And here's Taylor Hackney, the designated player, and she pops one into short right field. Kat Carver giving chase down the right field line. A nice running catch by the second baseman, Carver, to take care of Hackney. The key there for Carver, she got a great jump, and she was able to make the catch down the right field line for the second out. All-Britain has to stay at second. And here's Pepper Baker, the center fielder. She grounded out to Watterson at third to end the second inning.
Well, the new rankings for tennis came out today, and my mind's kind of blown by it.
Okay, here's the first pitch, and a little soft liner foul down the right field line. Fortunately, it's sliced foul by Baker.
Well, I see Northwest at number 20.
Okay.
Jones at 19.
All right.
Meridian at 15.
Okay.
Okay. Gulf Coast at 22. All teams that ICC's men have beat. I see Johnson County at number 11, the only team that ICC has lost to. I don't see ICC in the rankings.
That is crazy. And that ICC men's program, like the ladies, every year finish in the top 20 in the country at the national tournament. They won 3 of the last 4 state titles. Wow. That's a shocker. That pitch is high. 1-1 the count to the center fielder Baker with a runner at second. There's a slow roller to third. Watterson fires to Henderson, and that takes care of Baker and EMCC in the top of the fourth. No runs, a hit. There were no errors, and 1 was left. We've played 3.5, and ICC leads it 2-0. ICC Athletics on FM 95 Sports is brought to you in part by the National Guard. Always ready, always there, the National Guard. And by Pisons. Give Stan the Pizza Man a call at 862-4000.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Trustmark Bank in Tupelo, Fulton, and Columbus. Trustmark is a Mississippi-based bank. Yes, it's a large regional bank, but managed locally by the Baptist Student Union on the Fulton campus. The BSU is the oldest, largest, and most active religious club on campus, serving ICC students since 1954.
Back here in Fulton, we head to the bottom of the fourth. ICC leads game 1, 2-0 over East Mississippi. Lady Indians yesterday wrapped up their 3rd straight outright North Division title. Last time out, brought to you by Sodexo. The 17th ranked Lady Indians swept Coahoma yesterday. winning 15-0 in 3 innings behind multiple hit performances by Haley Moore, Emily Henderson, and Rachel Elder in Game 1, and completed the sweep with a 16-0 win in 4 innings with multiple hits from Corey Watterson, Kara Hopper, and Maddie Lukens. And that is a look at last time out for ICC, brought to you by Sodexo. That's ICC Dining Services. Steve Miller, the GM. Joe Wallace, the executive chef. And I know Miss Jimmy and a lot of the ladies are listening from our Fulton and Tupelo cafeterias to this broadcast here this afternoon. In the bottom of the 4th for ICC, it'll be Emily Henderson leading off. There's a strike called. Henderson had that clutch 2-strike, 2-out, little flare to center to score Haley Moore back in the first for the first run of the game. On deck is Kara Hopper, Ashley Langford in the hole. This one's fouled. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, chased a bad one that time, but a good job fouling it off to stay alive that time by Henderson.
Henderson did hit her 4th home run of the year in Game 1, while Watterson smashed her team best 9th homer of the year yesterday in Game 2.
She almost had her 5th home run of the year on a check swing.
Really?
Yesterday. Yeah, she didn't quite follow through, and it actually almost went over the center fielder was up against the fence and caught it. I'd say just a little behind, a little below the top of the fence out there.
How about that? That pitch is a little outside, a little low. 2-2 the count. 205 feet to straightaway center field here at the Lady Indians softball field. Not too far off the banks of the Tennessee Tom Bigby Waterway. And the count is now full at 3-2 to Henderson.
Yeah, got a nice breeze blowing through campus today. Not a hot day, not a cool day, just Chamber of Commerce day.
Yes, yeah, one of those Chamber of Commerce days. There you go. This one, liner stab by the first baseman. Nice play by Seymour as Henderson went the other way with it. And she lined sharply to Seymour at first for the first out.
And we've talked about Henderson. She's kind of struggled here of late, and that's one of those plays where if you are in a slump, that's an out. But if you're red hot, then that's a base hit down the line.
So Henderson now 1 for 2 with a ribby, and here's Kara Hopper. She bounced out to the second baseman Carpenter to end the first, and she goes the other way with that pitch and a base hit to right field. So Hopper with her first base hit of the afternoon. She's now 1 for 2, and that'll help out that .379 batting average and that .387 on base percentage.
Yeah, we almost lost Hopper for the season in the Gadsden State series. She fouled a pitch back, and well, I don't know if you've seen her, but she's got a pretty nasty bruise where her black eye. Went to a specialist and said there was no fracture, no broken bone in her cheek. So she's battling back, and yeah, if you get a chance between games, go by and see her. She's looking pretty rough.
Ooh. This one's fouled out of play to the right of us here in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth. 0-1 the count to the right-handed hitting Ashley Langford.
Of course, she won National Player of the Week. Last week did Kara Hopper, and, of course, State Player. You have to win state to be eligible for National.
Yeah, you've done a nice job nominating our student athletes this year, Adam, for the statewide and national honors. This one's fouled out of play, again to the right of us. 0-2 the count. Kara really has had herself a fine year, a .583 slugging percentage because she's got 10 doubles, a triple along with those 3 home runs. So she's got her share of total bases.
Now those 3 home runs, 2 of them have been grand slams.
How about that? Nice little nugget there. The runner at first is Hopper with 1 out. Langford at the plate. This one's a grounder to the left side, and the flip to second is not in time. In fact, over the head of the second baseman, and Andy Kirk is going to try to get the runner score all the way from first, and she does. How about the speed of Kara Hopper as Langford reaches on the fielder's choice. The air by the shortstop allows the shortstop, Mitchell, allowed Hopper to not only reach second, but her throw went into right field. Hopper took third, and third base coach Andy Kirk did not hesitate, and Kara Hopper scores all the way from first on a ground ball hit to the shortstop. No RBI for Langford, but the Lady Indians are up 3-0.
And that was big. That was really big that time because we did get that third run across. 2 runs you feel good, but when you get 3, that just mentally gets to the other team. And you see right now East Mississippi's coach is coming out and talking to her girls because she knows right now that this is a very pivotal point in the game. Another run here, another run there, and this thing could be over with as we're starting to run out of outs. But what a big play. Good job that time. The shortstop kind of got confused because Langford did a good job of, she's got better speed than she looks like. She got down the line in a hurry, so she thought she'd go ahead and get the lead run with a little soft toss to the side. The second baseman wasn't quite there in time, so a big cluster of a play works out in advantage of the Lady Indians.
Yeah, how about the speed by Hopper? Did a great job. And Andy Kirk did not hesitate from his third base coaching spot. Here's Autumn Bonner, the catcher. She was caught looking her first time up. On deck is Rachel Elder. We're in the bottom of the 4th. ICC now leads at 3-0. Pitch is low. 17th ranked Lady Indians trying to add to that lead here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, it'd be good to get multiple runs up on the board here this inning. We've got picked up 1 run in the first, 1 in the third, so putting a cricket-letter up there would be good this time.
Popped up on the left side of the infield. Calling for it is Stanfield, the third baseman, just to the left of the circle. And that takes care of Bonner for the second out here in the 4th, and that'll bring up Rachel Elder, the left fielder. And now Andy Kirk looks like he's going to the bench.
This is going to be Arian Henry stepping in here in this situation.
So Arian Henry will pinch hit for Elder here in the 4th inning. Henry this year hitting at .345, 4 home runs, 19 runs batted in. Has a .690 slugging percentage. How about that coming off the bench?
Yeah, her and Henderson have sort of rotated, I guess you can say, in between the DP and then also the first base spot. So she's done a good job of working her way into the lineup, and she has got some power where she can extend those arms on a pitch.
Has a .433 on base percentage as well, and that pitch is outside, a little high. 1-0 the count. There's 2 outs. We got a runner in scoring position. That's Ashley Langford. Would really like to add to this total right now. It's 3-zip Itawamba over East Mississippi in game 1. Pitch is high. 2-0 the count.
Yeah, good job holding off on that pitch right there, especially for a power hitter like Henry. A lot of times you like to swing at those high heat.
Henry is a freshman. She's got 6 doubles and a triple to go along with her 4 home runs. That pitch is low and inside. 3-0 the count to the pinch hitter Henry with Dillard on deck. Bottom of the 4th. Lady Indians lead it 3-0. Hoping to make it 4-0, and there's a strike called.
If you're seeing the future, go right ahead and say 4-0.
That's right. I would love to see Henry find a home with a base hit here with 2 outs. And taking all the way, a strike call, and now it's even at 3-2.
Yeah, not a bad job taking those 2 pitches because the first 3, were outside. So make her throw 2 strikes back-to-back, something she hadn't done.
I said even, I meant full. The count, 3-2 the count with 2 outs. The runner at second is Langford. The pinch hitter Henry at the dish. Check swing. Did she commit? They said she did. And that's strike 3 called, and that's another strikeout. That's the 3rd of the game by Green, all brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. But the Lady Indians get an unearned run here in the 4th. They get a base hit. Along with that 1 run, there was an error, and 1 was left. We've played 4, and ICC leads EMCC 3-0.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Davis Ford in Fulton. Need a new car, van, or SUV? Give Davis Ford a call at 862-3711. By Coca-Cola, Coke, and ICC. Now that's the winning combination.
And by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. Sweet Cheeks is open daily for breakfast and lunch and is the only place in Fulton where you can get hot, freshly made donuts.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First American National Bank in Fulton, doing business the old-fashioned way. First American National Bank with convenient locations all over Northeast Mississippi. By the Subways in Fulton, Tupelo, Saltillo, and Nettleton. Subway, eat fresh.
WAFM, Amory, Aberdeen.
Top of the fifth we go. ICC leads it 3-0 over East Mississippi, and the first pitch to Tori Seymour is a strike called. It'll be the number 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Lady Lions here in the fifth. Seymour, Green, and then Mitchell. There's a slow roller right side. Charging is Carver. Underhands it to Henderson for the first out here in the top of the fifth with ICC leading 3-0.
Will, we've got another Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. Northeast, Northwest tied 1-1 after 3 complete in Game 1 in softball up in Boonville.
Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. Adam is monitoring these key North Division duels here this afternoon in softball. The day before the 3-day weekend for these students and most faculty and staff. Not counting present company.
No.
Here's the right-handed hitting pitcher, Haley Green. Green walked and was all the way to third and tried to score on a ground out, and Moore threw her out at the plate. There's a pitch that, not sure where it was, but a ball is called. 2-0 the count.
Ball was called. The only thing that could make that a strike is if it was sitting on a tee and she missed it.
Johnson delivers a ground ball foul to the third base side. 2-1 the count. Hannah yesterday picked up her 13th win of the year. Struck out 3 batters. Montana Hawkins out of Sulligent. She'll pitch Game 2. She fanned 3 batters as well to pick up her 9th win of the season. That one low. 3-1 the count to Haley Green.
You're starting to see Hannah get a little frustrated here because now the strike zones have kind of shifted from one to the other. She's feeling like she's not getting the same pitches that the East Mississippi pitcher is getting.
And the East Mississippi pitcher has just walked for the second straight time against Hannah Johnson. And that's the third walk of the game for Hannah. And we'll go to the top of the order, and Kristen Mitchell, who reached on an error her last time up. And then grounded to the third baseman, Watterson, in the first. That started the ball game off.
Perfect time to roll 2 right here.
I like it. Pitch is high. 1-0 the count to Kristen Mitchell.
Yeah, she's going to ask for another softball here, kind of just to get the attention of the umpire. I believe we're going to have a courtesy runner come in here for the pitcher. This will be number 13.
Okay, that'll be Elizabeth Barnacastle.
Courtesy runner at first base, number 13, Elizabeth Barnacastle.
I tell you, Rosie probably has a fun time spelling that name.
That's right, a lot of vowels in there. Just a lot of letters, period, out of Northeast Lauderdale High School in Meridian. So hitting from the right side is Kristen Mitchell, the leadoff hitter. There is a runner at first. Lady Indians lead it 3-0 here in the top of the fifth. There's a strike called. For more information on ICC softball and the 9 other intercollegiate athletic programs, you can follow ICC Athletics on Twitter at LetsGoICC. This one smashed down the third baseline, foul. And it's now 1-2 the count. And you can visit our athletic website, LetsGoICC.com. Both of those were voted best in the state last year among the 15 community colleges. Pitch is low and outside. 2-2 the count with 1 out. And Adam, you're going to try to defend those number 1 spots along with some other social media accounts that you're responsible for. That pitch is inside, and it got a piece of Mitchell. And so she's hit by a pitch. And now with runners at first and second with 1 out, here's Corey Dawkins, the left fielder.
Yeah, I'd say it's going to be difficult. There's a lot of schools that really up their game on the social media and the website sides of things. So, competition's good, and it really helps out the rest of these kids throughout the entire state as well to I guess it's kind of a friendly rivalry amongst all of ourselves, other SIDs. No question about that. And now here comes Andy Kirk to talk to Hannah Johnson and the infield. Let's take a 30-second timeout. We're in the top of the fifth, and ICC leads it 3-0.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Trustmark Bank in Tupelo, Fulton, and Columbus. Trustmark is a Mississippi-based bank. Yes, it's a large regional bank, but managed locally by the Baptist Student Union on the Fulton campus. The BSU is the oldest, largest, and most active religious club on campus, serving ICC students since 1954.
Andy Kirk is back into the ICC dugout. We're in the top of the 5th inning. 3-0 ICC over EMCC. And he's sticking with Hannah Johnson in the circle.
Yeah, and probably wants to make sure the infield's all on the same page here and just sort of settle down as freshmen a little bit in this situation. And, you know, being a freshman in this situation in a big game right here, nerves can get the best of you.
And she got hit, or did they hit the bat? Evidently, it hit her because she's going down to first. Wow, that's got a smart. It sounded like the way it was hit, that it hit the bat.
I think it got her helmet. I'm really surprised the umpire don't call her back on that one because she was leaning into the ball and running on the slap hit. And I've seen that a couple of times this season. And you saw she didn't like it at all as she sort of slung the bat down and sort of shot a flare or a glare, if you will, to Johnson.
So now the bases are loaded, and here's Casey Stanfield, the third baseman. Change-up smash. Nice play by Watterson going to the plate, and it goes in and out of the glove of our catcher Bonner, and that allows another run to score. The throw down to third is not in time. So a costly mistake there. Stanfield reaches on the fielder's choice. Watterson's throw was a good one. It just went in and out of the glove of Bonner, so an error on Bonner allows Green to score, and that also allowed Mitchell to score all the way from second. Hawkins goes from first to third. Stanfield takes second, and so now it is 3-2. And with runners at second and third, and here is the left-handed hitting right fielder, Jade Albritton.
Yeah, we may have a change right now in this situation here, and it appears that we may be bringing a new pitcher in as Andy's going to come back out and talk to him. Tough break right there. I mean, it was a good throw that time by Corey over at third. And I think more than anything, I think Bonner may have been thinking, get the out at home and then try to get the out at first.
I think you're right.
I think she was looking at two. So we're going to have a change here. So we'll, I guess, step away then and we'll get everything reset.
That's right. A Predator Pest Control pitching change coming up as the day is done for Hannah Johnson here in the top of the 5th. It's 3-2 ICC. EMCC trying to tie it here in the top of the 5th. We're back in 60 seconds here on FM 95 Sports.
ICC Athletics on FM 95 Sports is brought to you in part by the National Guard. Always ready, always there, the National Guard. And by Pisons. Give Stan the Pizza Man a call at 862-4000.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First American National Bank in Fulton, doing business the old-fashioned way. First American National Bank with convenient locations all over Northeast Mississippi. By the Subways in Fulton, Tupelo, Saltillo, and Nettleton. Subway, eat fresh.
So we have our first Predator Pest Control pitching change of the day, and it's Kara Hopper is the new pitcher for ICC, replacing Hannah Johnson. Hannah goes 4 1/3 and has given up 2 runs. And we now have a pinch hitter?
No.
Oh, sorry.
What I was saying is Kara's 5-1 on the year.
Oh, okay.
In the circle.
Kara having a fine year at 5-1, and the first pitch high to Jade Albritton, the right fielder. She's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Let's reset the defensive alignment brought to you by Coke with Hopper coming in from right field. Elder goes from left to right for ICC, and now Schenkel is in to play left for Itawamba. That pitch is a little low. 2-0 the count. So that's the Coca-Cola defensive alignment. Coke, open happiness.
Almost call it a Predator Pest Control position change.
How about that? Nice. Ted Weatherford and his son Clay Weatherford, the former All-State center fielder for ICC in baseball, smiling on that one. We're not smiling, though, right now. It's 3-0 the count as East Mississippi has cut it to 3-2, and they haven't had a hit yet in this inning. And there's a strike call. They've scored 2 runs, and they've got taken advantage of a walk and 2 hit-by pitches and an error. 3-1 the count to Albritton with Abby Roberts on deck. And there's a swing and a foul down the right field line, and the count is full at 3-2.
Yeah, good job taking some off that pitch that time. As you saw, had the batter way ahead of that one. Now makes the count go 3-2, so a good job battling back here by Hop.
Hop has been terrific this year. Her 18th appearance of the year. She has 3 saves, and she's got a 1.16 earned run average. There's a swing and a miss, strike 3. As Albritton looked like she got just barely a piece of it, but Bonner was able to hold, and the strikeout, the first for Hopper, and the first for ICC pitching as a whole, brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue, open every weekday at 5:30. They close at 3, so they're open for breakfast and lunch every day. And here's with 2 outs, the right-handed hitting catcher, Abby Roberts, and a strike called, 0-1 the count.
Yeah, good job by Hop. That first 3 pitches didn't quite find her zone, but now she feels like she's got that groove going and is really challenging the batters.
Yeah, that's a big strikeout on Albritton. She's had a terrific year, and that pitch is just inside, 1-1 the count. In the top of the 5th, runners at 2nd and 3rd. There is 2 outs. East Mississippi has already scored 2 in the frame to cut the lead to 3-2. There's a strike called. 1-2 the count to Roberts. She has walked in the 2nd, then had a sacrifice bunt in the 4th.
Well, I tell you, Hop's not wasting any time. She's getting the ball back. She'll go get a little bit of dirt on her hand, and then she's ready to go. Fouled
out of play to the right of us. And the count remains at 1-2 with 2 outs to Abby Roberts here in the top of the 5th. ICC all about some social media. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, Vine, FanCred, and much more. That's an ICC Spotlight brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc. That pitch is high, 2-2 the count. Roberts, she had to hold back a little bit. She almost went fishing.
Yeah, and that's what Hop thought, too. She thought she had her on that pitch right there, and that's the same pitch she got on that last strikeout.
Here's the 2-2, a slow roller to 3rd. Watterson, tough play, fires the first in time to get Abby Roberts by a step, and that takes care of East Mississippi in the 5th. But the Lady Lions scored 2 runs on no hits. There was an ICC error, and 2 were left in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 5th, and ICC leads EMCC 3-2.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Davis Ford in Fulton. Need a new car, van, or SUV? Give Davis Ford a call at 862-3711. By Coca-Cola, Coke, and ICC. Now that's the winning combination.
And by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. Sweet Cheeks is open daily for breakfast and lunch and is the only place in Fulton where you can get hot, freshly made donuts.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First National Bank in Pontotoc, with locations on South Main Street in Pontotoc and on Highway 15 in North Pontotoc. First National Bank, you're important to us, and we prove it.
And by JUCO Weekly. Log on to JUCOweekly.org to view scores, stats, news, photos, and videos from around the MACJC. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at www.JUCOweekly.org.
Will Kohlmeyer, Adam Gore back here in Fulton. Tina Harlow, our studio engineer at FM 95 Studios in Amory, and James Puckett, the pride of Morville, is our videographer. He's our photographer again today for our video streaming at LetsGoICC.com.
And I didn't tell Miss Tina hi when I got on the air today, before we got on the air today, so she's going to think I was mad at her.
Yeah, well, we know how you former college athletes are. I can't say that. You're a former student athlete on the collegiate level, so we just understand that's just part of it. You guys are used to the limelight.
Yes. We won't say it was golf.
Well, so, first pitch is low. 1-0 count. You don't need to say it. Just say you're a collegiate athlete.
I was a college athlete. You're
That's right. Something I can't say. 3-2 the count. 3-2 the score in the top of the 5th. As the Lady Indians trying to add a little insurance. It'll be Heather Dillard, Haley Moore, and Kat Carver. And if any of those reach base, it'll be Corey Watterson here in the bottom of the fifth. There's a strike called. Dillard had that important walk to lead off the third, and she came around to score on a sacrifice fly by Carver. There's a slow roller down the third base line, and forget it. How about that speed for Dillard and an infield single, and Dillard is on base for the second time today, and they've been both in the leadoff position.
And to say she's as quick as a hiccup may be actually a step slower than she actually is. I mean, great job of laying down that bunt, and it didn't even, I mean, she was already through the base by the time the ball got there.
So let's see what we'll do here with Haley Moore at the plate. She's 2 for 2 today. A run scored, a stolen base, and this bunt attempt is fouled on the first base line. 0-1 the count with no outs here in the bottom of the fifth. ICC leads it 3-2.
Yeah, they were trying to force it down the first base line to make them make a decision on what they wanted to do that time. Kind of a surprise bunt, if you will, but just couldn't quite keep it in fair territory.
ICC is at Hines on Saturday for a doubleheader, and then at Jackson State in Tennessee on Tuesday, and that'll wrap up the regular season. Our next Lady Indian broadcast will be a week from tomorrow. Game 1 of the best of 3. There's a snap throw down to first, and diving back safely is Dillard. A 1-1 count now to Haley Moore.
Well, see someone out riding his bike, enjoying the beautiful day. Don't we have something like that coming up soon?
We do have a fundraiser. In fact, Jim Ingram will join us later in this broadcast. We got the Tanglefoot Trail bike ride on May 3rd, 2 weeks from Saturday. Big fundraiser for the foundation. There's a bunt foul, and it's now 1-2 the count to Moore. May 3rd is the date to keep in mind for that fundraiser. And as I mentioned, all the proceeds going to our scholarship fund for the ICC Foundation, which means all the students, traditional and non-traditional students, will take advantage of that fundraiser. This one's fouled out of play, and we'll do it again at 1-2 to Haley Moore. There's no registration fee. All riders that raise $100 for the scholarships will receive a free T-shirt. We had our community relations meeting this morning. That's a good-looking T-shirt that the.
I know. I kind of want. I won't ride, but I want to raise $100 just to get the T-shirt.
There you go. That pitch is low and outside. 2-2 the count. For more information, you can contact Jim at 862-8047, 862-8047. And you can register online at racesonline.com, or you can fill out a form on our college website at iccms.edu. Grounder to the left side. The shortstop makes the play, and that's Mitchell, but Moore's speed beats it out. An infield single by Haley Moore. There was nothing else that Mitchell could do at short. That just shows you the speed of Haley Moore.
Yeah, and she didn't hesitate. You know, a lot of people may think, well, she looked at second to maybe get Dillard, but Dillard was there. So, I mean, she got it, clubbed it cleanly, and threw it across the way. But Haley Moore, she's quick, and she just proved it.
We've got terrific speed on the base path with Dillard now at second, Moore at first. Nobody out. Here's Kat Carver. Pulled the trigger back at the last second. Snap throw down to first, and sliding back safely is Moore. So once again, the Itawamba Community College Foundation riding the Tanglefoot Trail 2 weeks from Saturday. That's May 3rd. And we'll have, as I mentioned, Jim Ingram will join us later in this broadcast. That's what's coming up at ICC, brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc. Carver with a sacrifice bunt in the first. She had a sacrifice fly in the third to score a run. And there's another bunt and a beauty. And the third baseman charges, and not in time, as a bunt single by Kat Carver. We have placed some perfectly placed bunts in this game for ICC, and we've got our share of bunt singles, and we've got the bases loaded with nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth trying to extend this 3-2 lead.
And we've got the perfect opportunity right now for the next two batters coming up with Corey and Emily without having a base open and no outs. So big chance here for the Lady Indians.
Yeah, let's get this lead out again. Right now it's a precarious one-run lead. Watterson, first pitch, a strike called 0-1. Watterson hitting at .423 starting the day. That's best on the team. She leads the squad with 9 home runs as well as her 38 runs batted in. Watterson lifts one into left field, and it's going to be caught. It's going to be deep enough to score a run, and the Lady Indians are back on top now, 4-2.
But Dillard slid a little too hard in the plate that time, coming up and holding her leg.
Yeah, I noticed that. Sacrifice fly by Watterson. Drives in Dillard to make it 4-2. That sac fly brought to you by the Baptist Student Union. As I mentioned earlier, Chris Burrows has been in charge of the BSU since 1996. Here's Emily Henderson. Nice play by the left fielder. Dawkins throwing to third and not allowing either of the other runners to advance. So Moore is at second, Carver is at first. One out here in the fifth, and a strike call to Henderson.
Well, we got to run in. That was the big thing right there. Just get a little bit more breathing room right now, and hopefully we can just string something together here. One out, runners on first and second.
Henderson 1 for 2 with an RBI today. Pitch is a strike call.
Wow.
0-2 the count.
Need a bat and a half to hit that one.
I see Carrie Ball Williamson, along with our Lady Indians basketball coach, Nancy Gray, cheering on ICC here today. The 17th ranked Lady Indians lead it 4-2, and Henderson, a slow roller up the middle. It's going to be a base hit, and scoring from second will be Haley Moore. The throw to third is not in time. Henderson takes second, and the Lady Indians are now on top, 5-2.
That was big. That time the ball just found its way through. Wasn't a hard hit ball. You know, a lot of people expecting to see Emily crush one over the fence, but just hopped it its way through and drove in another run.
Henderson now 2 for 3 on the day, 2 ribbies. She now has 25 runs batted in on the year. And Dillard and Moore have already scored in this frame, and we're back up by 3 now at 5-2. Showing bunt and a beautiful suicide squeeze, and sliding in is not in time that it makes the tag, and now going to second and sliding, and she's out for the second out.
Waited too long to go. Waited too long to go that time, and East Mississippi's going to come out and argue to see if she got in the way or interference on the bunt that time.
So a sacrifice by Hopper, and scoring that run was Carver. Sacrifice brought to you by our friends at the BSU.
You give her
a base hit. I don't know.
I mean, she went to first, advanced. There was no play on the ball because the catcher didn't come up with it.
Okay, we'll give her a bunt single.
And then out trying to advance.
But as you mentioned, that does score another run, and we're now up 6-2. And there's a smash to right, a base hit. That's a clutch 2-out hit to right by Ashley Langford. And that will score Henderson. And it's now 7-2 ICC here in the bottom of the fifth.
Big, big inning. I tell you what, after that disastrous inning we had that last time, you would be worried about the ladies' focus. See if East Mississippi had momentum all on their side, but a big, big turnaround right here to answer. And hang 4 runs on the board so far.
That's exactly right. And Autumn Bonner is the 8th Lady Indian to face Green here in the fifth. ICC leads it 7-2. Bonner swings and misses. The throw down to second is not in time. Oh
my gosh.
They called her out. Looked like Langford had the stolen base, but Roberts to Carpenter, and that takes care of the Lady Indians here in the fifth.
I'm going to save that. I typically don't save those clips, but I'm saving that one to show somebody at the end of the day.
4 runs on 4, 5, 6 hits. There were no errors, and 1 was left. We've played 5, and ICC leads it 7-2.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First National Bank in Pontotoc, with locations on South Main Street in Pontotoc and on Highway 15 in North Pontotoc. First National Bank, you're important to us, and we prove it.
And by JUCO Weekly. Log on to JUCOweekly.org to view scores, stats, news, photos, and videos from around the MACJC. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's www.JUCOweekly.org. ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Trustmark Bank in Tupelo, Fulton, and Columbus. Trustmark is a Mississippi-based bank. Yes, it's a large regional bank, but managed locally by the Baptist Student Union on the Fulton campus. The BSU is the oldest, largest, and most active religious club on campus, serving ICC students since 1954.
We're heading to the top of the 6th, and ICC leads East Mississippi 7-2. A big 4-run inning in the bottom of the 5th. Counter punches that 2-run top of the 5th for East Mississippi when the Lady Lions scored 2 on no hits.
Will, the Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. Northwest now leading 4-1 in Game 1 over Northeast in softball.
Another Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. Here in the top of the 6th, it'll be the number 6, 7, and 8 hitters for East Mississippi, and a called strike one to Taylor Hackney, the designated player. It'll be Hackney, Baker, and Seymour facing Kara Hopper. Nice changeup, and way out in front was Hackney, and a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Yeah, all she can do is look back at her coach and kind of just crack a grin because she knew that she was fooled on that one.
0-2 the count. This one's popped up out of play down the right field line. And we'll do it again, 0-2. Big day of sports here on FM 95 Sports. Of course, we've got both games of the doubleheader here today between 17th ranked ICC and East Mississippi in softball. Then tonight at 7 o'clock, it'll be Amory and Pontotoc renewing its high school baseball rivalry. 7 o'clock airtime here on FM 95. And then on our AM stations, a 6 o'clock airtime. There's a swing and a miss on by Hackney. A strikeout by Hopper, her second, brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. As I mentioned tonight at 6 o'clock airtime, Ole Miss entertains LSU on our AM stations, 1240 and 1580.
So pretty much, if there's any way possible to listen to 2 games at the same time, FM 95 would be the place to go.
That's right, absolutely. And maybe by 6 o'clock, this doubleheader will be done, and we'll be able to, while we get rid of our post-game responsibilities, we can listen to that Ole Miss LSU, and of course, Amory and Pontotoc tonight on FM 95. And there's a strike call on the inside corner. 1-1 the count to Baker, who is 0 for 2. She's got a couple ground outs to our third baseman, Corey Watterson.
Yeah, good job by Hop coming in and sort of settling things down for us because we had really hit a rough spot before she came in.
There's a swing and a miss. 1-2 the count to Baker. Yeah, she came in with 1 out in the top of the 5th, and East Mississippi had just scored their second run, and they had runners at second and third with 1 out, and then she was able to get a strikeout on Albritton and then get Roberts to bounce to Watterson at third to end that threat. Struck out Hackney to start the 6th, and right now Baker at the plate, and a 2-2 count. There's a liner down the third base line. Foul.
Coach making a nice play on it over there.
Sure was.
Well, we take a look at the left field lounge out there. There's a lot of royalty up there. I see Buddy Collins now coming out to enjoy the day.
Vice President of Student Services at the college. This one's fouled straight back just over our heads in the ICC Alumni Association broadcast booth. Speaking of Mark Todd, he'll most likely make an appearance sometime this afternoon.
Saw where he was on Twitter and giving blood today.
How about that? There's a pop-up out of play. Of course, you can reconnect with ICC on Monday. You can still call this afternoon. Not sure Mark will be able to take that call if he'll be taking it down here, but you can call him at 862-8176. Reconnect with, once again, one of the top community colleges in the country, according to Washington Monthly, and also one of the top community colleges in the country by the Aspen Institute again this year. That's ICC. An ICC Spotlight brought to you by First National Bank in Pontotoc. This one's fouled again, straight back. And again, we'll do it again at 3-2 with one out. And Baker at the plate with Seymour on deck. ICC leads it 7-2 here in the top of the sixth.
Yeah, Will, and to go back to about the Alumni Association, you can follow them on Twitter at ICC Alumni. So if you want to follow them on Twitter, Mark, just getting that up and rolling, so doing a good job there. And speaking of doing a good job, this is a battle right now between Baker and Hopper.
Change up, strike 3 called, and Baker knew it. Another strikeout by Hopper, the third in 4 batters. Brought to you by the Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton.
Good pitch call that time by the coaches. Her out pitch today has been that high heat. That time going with the change up and got her crossed up and was looking for the high heat, didn't get it.
With 2 outs, swing and a miss. The left-handed hitting first baseman, Tori Seymour. We talk about Pit Stop Barbecue. Of course, they've got all the different plates, the single meat plate, double meat, triple meat, the sampler plate, which includes pork, brisket, chicken, sausage, and ribs. And you got the rib plate at Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. There's strike 2. So Seymour's got to guard the plate with an 0-2 count, and the pitcher, Haley Green, is on deck. Wonderful afternoon for softball here at ICC. That pitch is high and outside, 1-2 the count. Seymour is 0 for 2. She grounded out to Hannah Johnson in the circle her first time up, and then bounced to Carver at second. Top of the sixth, the first of 2, and there's another swing and a miss. And Hopper just struck out the side, folks. Brought to you by Pit Stop Barbecue in Fulton. 3 up and 3 down. Throw a donut on that scoreboard for East Mississippi in the top of the sixth. Brought to you by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop here in Fulton. We go to the bottom of the sixth. ICC in control, 7-2.
ICC Athletics on FM 95 Sports is brought to you in part by the National Guard. Always ready, always there, the National Guard. And by Pisons. Give Stan the Pizza Man a call at 862-4000.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First American National Bank in Fulton, doing business the old-fashioned way. First American National Bank with convenient locations all over Northeast Mississippi. By the Subways in Fulton, Tupelo, Saltillo, and Nettleton. Subway, eat fresh.
We're back here in Fulton. ICC coming to the plate here in the bottom of the sixth. And the Lady Indians, ranked 17th in the nation, lead it 7-2 over East Mississippi. It'll be the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters for ICC. That'll be Bonner, Elder, and Dillard against Haley Green. Still in the circle for East Mississippi. Hannah Johnson started for ICC. First pitch is low, 1-0 the count. Hannah went 4 1/3, gave up 2 unearned runs. She's in line for the win, and Hopper, who came in a save situation, is in line to pick up another save. At that point, it was just 3-2. There's a strike to Bonner. She's 0 for 2 today against Haley Green. Struck out looking in the second, and then popped up to the third baseman, Stanfield, in the fourth. There's a smash foul down the third base line. 1-2 the count. Don't forget, right after this one is over, we'll have the Aiken Veterinary Services post-game report. Aiken Veterinary Services, it's a 100% equine practice dedicated to the treatment and care of the equine athlete, located on Country Club Road in Tupelo. Bonner got to guard the plate with 2 strikes. Pitch is high and outside, 2-2 the count.
Also see President Eaton out and about today, and I tell you, you're living right if you got the president driving you around as Buddy Collins riding shotgun.
What's happening there? Wow. That's the third of the cabinet right there for ICC. 2-2 the count with nobody out. Of course, any kind of excuse to get out of the office here this afternoon on an absolutely beautiful day. for softball. Smash into the hole. That's short. The long throw by Mitchell. And that takes care of Bonner for the first out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Number 25, Rachel Elder.
And that'll bring in Rachel Elder. Elder at the plate here today is 0 for 1. She popped up to the pitcher Green in the 2nd inning, and then Henry pinch hit for her in the 4th. So Elder back in with Dillard on deck. There's one out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. ICC leads 7-2. We'll talk with head coach Andy Kirk on that Aiken Veterinary Services postgame report. There's a strike call. We'll also have the final line score brought to you by the National Guard, and we'll get Adams' game summary brought to you by Weatherall Printing. We'll also tell you who our Sonic star of the game is, brought to you by the Sonic Drive-In in Fulton. This pitch is a little low. 1-0 the count to the right-handed hitting Rachel Elder, who started the day hitting at .325 with a home run, 14 runs batted in. There's a 2-hopper to the right side. Carpenter makes the play. Flips over to first to take care of Elder for the 2nd out here in the 6th. And that'll bring up Heather Dillard, who has reached base both times today, scored 2 runs.
Number 11, Heather Dillard.
Dillard walked and scored in the 3rd. Got a base hit and scored in the 5th. And both of those times, she was the leadoff hitter.
Yeah, it's extremely clutch to have a number 9 batter that can come in and do what she's done today and kind of work as a second leadoff person.
Yeah, her batting average starting the day was .371. Scholl's bunt pulls the trigger back, 1-0 the count.
Once again, you see the infield charging in on each play. I tell you, if she could just slap something out over the second baseman's head, she's going to be probably running around the bases twice if she wanted to.
Dillard with those 2 runs has now scored 28 on the year. She is 34 for 90 at the plate so far this season. There's a strike call.
Yeah, and another interesting nugget, didn't become a slap hitter until this season. Never slapped hit in high school.
How about that? Andy Kirk has had his share of success with some slap hitters through the years. There's a slapper to the left side. Mitchell made sure she had it in her mitt, and she did. Fired over to get the speedy Dillard, and that takes care of ICC in the bottom of the 6th. 3 up and 3 down. We're 3 outs away from winning game 1. ICC leads it 7-2 over East Mississippi.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by First National Bank in Pontotoc, with locations on South Main Street in Pontotoc and on Highway 15 in North Pontotoc. First National Bank, you're important to us, and we prove it.
And by JUCO Weekly. Log on to JUCOweekly.org to view scores, stats, news, photos, and videos from around the MACJC. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at www.JUCOweekly.org.
ICC Sports on FM 95 is sponsored in part by Davis Ford in Fulton. Need a new car, van, or SUV? Give Davis Ford a call at 862-3711. By Coca-Cola, Coke, and ICC. Now that's a winning combination.
And by Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. Sweet Cheeks is open daily for breakfast and lunch and is the only place in Fulton where you can get hot, freshly made donuts.
We head to the top of the 7th, and the 17th ranked Lady Indians of ICC lead it 7-2 over East Mississippi, and Hopper is going to try to shut the door on East Mississippi here in the top of the 7th. She'll face the number 9, 1, and 2 hitters. That's Green, Mitchell, and Dawkins. First pitch is low and inside to the opposing pitcher, Haley Green. She's walked both times. In fact, she scored her second time that she was walked. That was part of that 2-run 5th. 2 unearned runs were scored in that inning on no hits. This one's fouled straight back. 1-1 the count.
Well, the Trustmark Bank scoreboard update. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Northwest Rangers leading Northeast in softball 4-2.
Okay, keeping track of that one. ICC starting the day 19-3 in North Division play, wrapping up another North Division title. There's a bunt, and the play by Hopper to get Green at first for the first out here in the 7th.
Yeah, first time green has been retired today, and East Mississippi saying, well, it's worked for ICC today. Let's see if we can do the same, but a nice job defending her position that time by Hop.
Number 15, Kristen Mitchell.
Here's Kristen Mitchell, the shortstop, the leadoff hitter, grounded to third to start the game to Watterson and reached on an error in the third, then was hit by a pitch and scored in the fifth. There's a strike called. 0-1 the count. ICC trying to go 20-3 in North Division play and win their 12th game in a row. We're 2 outs away, leading 7-2. This one's fouled. 0-2 the count.
Yeah, scary moment right there. That one fouled straight back at the batter's face that time, and luckily hit the bill of her helmet. So Kara, looking back at the batter, she can relate to that all too well.
Yeah, Kara, of course, wearing that mask out there in the circle. Home plate umpire, nice job there, was asking the hitter make sure she was okay. This one's in the dirt. 1-2 the count, but as you mentioned, Mitchell told the home plate umpire that it hit the bill of her cap, fortunately. Mitchell is 0 for 2 with a run scored. Dawkins is on deck. And that is a hit by pitch right on the top of that helmet.
Yeah. No, that one actually come off the bat that time.
Did that hit the bat?
As she put her hand up to protect herself, it caught the bottom of the bat. And a break there for East Mississippi because I would say that hit the bat all day, and they're not going to come out and challenge this, obviously, because the home plate umpire and the infield umpire wouldn't have had that good of a look at it. But that came off the end of the bat that time.
So Mitchell is hit a pitch for the second straight at bat, and the pitch is outside to Corey Dawkins, who was hit by a pitch last time. Also grounded to the shortstop Moore and reached on a fielder's choice, so she's 0 for 2 officially. There's a runner at first. That's Mitchell with 1 out here in the 7th. ICC leads 7-2. That pitch is a ball low. 2-0 the count.
It may have been one of those situations on that last hit by pitch that, you know, hey, she just took one almost off the grill. We'll let her have that.
They're in on the corners, and this one's popped up out of play down the third base line.
Had some fans walking in, thought they were going to make a play on the ball, but couldn't quite get to it in time.
2-1 the count. Say if you need some more information or have a question about Itawamba Community College, please visit our new and improved website at iccms.edu. Here's the 2-1 bunt foul, straight back, and the count is even at 2-2 to Dawkins, with Stanfield on deck.
Yeah, Jeff Brownlee and company have done a great job with improving the new, not the athletic website, but the new college website. A lot of information that you go in there, and it's much more user-friendly now.
That's exactly right. Community relations also part of that equation. There's a fly ball in the right field, going back a bit, now coming in and making the catch is the right fielder Elder for the second out, as Dawkins is retired here in the 7th, and East Mississippi is down to its last out. And it's Casey Stanfield, the third baseman.
Well, a good idea by Elder that time as she quickly relayed it in and just threw it a little too high for Henderson, or that would have been close to being a 9-3 game-ending double play.
Yeah, that would have been a heck of a way to end it. Pitch is a strike call at the knees to Stanfield. We haven't had any of those double plays brought to you by Pisons.
Really haven't had a lot of them this season.
ICC trying to go 30-10 on the year. They start the day at 29-10. There's a slow roller. Hopper charges it, fires over to first, and that takes care of Stanfield and East Mississippi here in the 7th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 was left. Throw another donut on the scoreboard for East Mississippi, brought to you by Alex Williamson and his Sweet Cheeks Donut and Sandwich Shop in downtown Fulton. We begin our Aiken Veterinary Services postgame report as ICC wins game 1 7-2, and we need, Adam, a game summary brought to you by Weatherall Printing.
Well, I'll tell you, we got solid defense today. That's what we talked about. Earlier in the game, we had a great play by Haley Moore coming home to throw the runner out. It really kind of changed the complexity of the game. Take away a very tough play at home that they'd scored 2 runs on an error. We've got a shutout on the day. The bats came to life right after that, so the ladies, answered the adversity, came back and took care of business to get the 7-2 win.
And that is a game summary brought to you by Weatherall Printing. We'll have more of our Aiken Veterinary Services postgame report coming up right after this 2-minute timeout here on FM 95 Sports.